The following is a live presentation of News Channel Nebraska Sports.
And welcome to Grand Island, Nebraska. Doubleheader soccer coming your way as Columbus makes the trip west to take on the Islanders. Brandon Axemet and Grant Otten with you for this one. A beautiful day, Grant.
The following is a live presentation
of often this spring, but the sun is out, 60-plus degrees weather, and this is what soccer season is supposed to feel like, and it's finally here.
I woke up, went outside. Snow was falling down when I was on my way to the office yesterday, and very glad to see the temperatures warmed up here. We'll get another good taste of some temperatures, kind of warm actually to what we've been used to coming up the next couple of days, and then potentially some more non-spring snow on Saturday. But I'm enjoying it while it lasts, and glad to be out here in Grand Island watching some soccer while we're doing it.
Going to be flip-flopping the normal schedule. Boys are going to be played first, girls second. And we're expecting a good one. Columbus and Grand Island coming in to this contest off of losing streaks. They want to get back to the winning ways. Grand Island going 1-2 in the Heartland Athletic Conference tournament. That is a competition that they have owned generally throughout the past 5 to 7 years. A little disappointing. They weren't full strength. They had some key players injured and dealing with sickness. They are coming off a 2-0 loss to Lincoln East in the third place game. They, of course, want to get back on the winning track. Then you have Columbus, started out the season 3-0, currently on a 3-game losing streak, but again, it's been against very good competition. The Discoverers always play such a very difficult schedule. And unfortunately for Coach Arlt and the Discoverers, this isn't an easy gimme game either. It doesn't get any easier coming here to Grand Island.
And potentially a real good boost for them if either of these teams come out with a win. That's going to be a nice launching pad to go into the final games. Again, you talk about Columbus. They most recently coming off a loss in a shutout to North Platte in the GNAC, which got whittled down to 2 days instead of the full tournament schedule that they were hoping for because of weather and snow and almost 4 inches falling on the ground in Columbus. So that was a tough one. They had 2 really close losses before that as well, and so this would be a big momentum booster for them. But the same you talk about with Grand Island, who's had 3 more games already on the year than Columbus has had. But if they can get back on track with a win against a very good Columbus team, that kind of sets them up nicely as well.
Players you need to know about. First off, for the visiting Discoverers, Enrique Adabo, senior leader and center back. It's not often you see a defender leading your team in scoring, but that's the case for Enrique. He has 3 goals, and he loves charging forward, but as good as he is offensively, he is a stalwart defender, and that's why he's right smack dab in the middle of this back line.
He has really done a great job this season, and that's probably the best part of Columbus is that back line. There's a lot of experience back there, and Adabo he's a very smart kid who has been a blessing for the Discoverers this season.
As for Grand Island, another defender that has attacking capabilities, Steven Castillo. The senior has 3 goals and 3 assists. He's kind of been moved all over the place this season in terms of how head coach Jeremy Jensen is trying to find the perfect match for his starting 11. Castillo has been left back, left wing, defensive mid, and now he'll be playing left mid in the formation the Islanders are going with here today.
He's so versatile. He's such a great athlete, and he's certainly a guy you got to keep your eye on, and he is really just a playmaker for the Islanders this year, and he's a guy who can facilitate them in so many positions like you just talked about. He's a lot of fun to watch, and I'm excited to kind of see him move into this new position here today.
Let's take a look at your starting 11 for both squads here as we are just minutes away from the start of this contest. Columbus High, you see it there. They have the 4-4-2. Ivan Lopez and Luis Tovar up top. Andres Espino, Kevin Palma Lopez, Jorge Monsibayas, and Alejandro Espino. Talking to Coach Arlt, he said, our 4 midfielders, they look the same, they play similar, and they pretty much are interchangeable. So you see positions there, but that diamond in the middle, they'll be going all over the place, switching spots and playing through balls. Then we talked about the back line, anchored by Esch and Adabo, the 2 strongest points of this Columbus High team.
Yeah, just a really good lineup all across the board, obviously, with how well they've played this year, but that back line is really a strong piece for them. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how they do overall. A guy we don't talk about a ton is Avery McMeekin, as you mentioned in that starting lineup. He's a guy who can really do some good stuff up front and in the back as well.
Now for the starting 11 for Grand Island. Again, the pieces continue to shift around for this Islander squad. Running a 4-4-2 up top now, you have Najib Omar. He actually is the one scratch. He's nursing a hamstring injury. He is going to be coming off the bench, but he is that dynamic speedster up top. In his stead will be Abdul Juma getting the start. Jair Orozco in the forward position. Jake Jacobo, center attacking mid. Mark Uloa Castillo we talked about. And Moises Jacobo, another player absent during the hack. He is the leading goal scorer for the Islanders. 6 goals, 5 assists, and then you have that back line of Junior Gomez, Roy Martin, Brian Covarrubias, and Daniel Montiel. Another boost for the Islanders as Leandro Bedoya is back between the posts. He also was nursing a groin injury and didn't see a lot of playing time during the hack as well.
Yeah, it hurts a little bit not having Omar up in the front there, but a guy, obviously, if he's coming off the bench and still getting some PT, then they'll be glad he's in the game when he is.
National anthem being played. We'll take a quick break and be back with high school soccer on News Channel Nebraska. Welcome back here to Grand Island. We are ready to go for soccer between the Islanders and Discoverers. Again, Brandon Axelman, Grant Otten with you. We'd like to remind you, feel free to interact with us on social media, particularly Twitter. Tweet at us at NCN Sports. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're cheering for, anything else you might like to throw out there. We'll give you a shout out live on the air. Nothing better than that, Grant.
Gotta love the Twitter shout outs.
Getting close to 4,000 followers.
It's building up. It's pretty good. There is pretty good following there on Twitter. So, yeah, go check that out. Give us a follow. Let's try and get that up to 5,000.
There we go.
That's the new goal.
Columbus High wearing the black, sitting at 3-3. Again, we talked about the tough run they've been into lately. 3 consecutive losses, but you look at the combined records of North Star, Southwest, and North Platte, and it's like 24 wins and 4 losses combined. They're all ranked opponents. North Platte, actually, a surprise in Class A. They're sitting at 7-2, and that's the one kind of measuring stick when you look at common opponent. Grand Island did get North Platte earlier this season 2-0, and we mentioned the shootout loss in cold conditions up in Norfolk in the GNAC. And Coach Arlt said coming into this one he knew it's not, or knows it's not going to be easy, but these are 2 teams that are very similar in the styles in which they play and are familiar with one another since they meet every year.
Yeah, it's interesting to see them finally match up here, and it's been such a goofy spring because of the weather. We've had the snow and a lot of rain and a lot of wet field conditions for games getting postponed, and you're maybe not getting as many touches out on the pitch as you're hoping for at this point in the season, so it's hard to tell. And even in the matches they are playing, like you talked about, there's been some pretty cold conditions that maybe could affect gameplay for one team or the other, but it's certainly not been uninteresting this season.
And in terms of this contest, Grand Island went up to Columbus last year, got a result. But the last time Columbus was here, it was a shootout victory for the Discoverers 2 seasons ago. See Juma applying pressure early again. He was the player who got the start for Omar. Ball cleared out of the box and knocked away by Espino. But Grand Island's applying pressure here early.
Yeah, Grand Island looking very good here early on, and they were doing a good job. You saw Columbus kind of take the back set and work backwards to try and work forwards. But, you know, it'll be interesting to see if Columbus can really break through this pressure and start getting some meaningful touches on Grand Island's side of the field.
And looks like ball was out of play way back closer to midfield. It'll be a throw-in for Columbus High as you had Jake Jacobo and Steven Castillo trying for some link-up play. Columbus's 3 results, 1-2-3, were 6-0 victory over Lakeview, 1-0 win over Norfolk, and a 2-0 victory over Fremont to start the season, like we mentioned. On a 3-game losing streak, they would love to snap here today.
We've broadcast 1 Lakeview boys game so far this year is against Schuyler. That one went into overtime, and Lakeview, they're not quite as high-powered offensively. They've got a really good defense and back line, but that was a good game for them. They ended up losing to Schuyler, but I thought they played really well. And so, first-year head coach over in that program, and it seems like they're responding well, but that's a tough start against a good Columbus team to face off like that, and it seems like they've responded well.
We spoke about the strength of this Columbus team, and that's the two center backs in Esch and Adabo. They're both 3-year starters and so solid on the back line. The defense has been something that's been a very welcoming sight for John Arlt in terms of the Discoverer's strength. He said it's just offensively we haven't been able to find the back of the net as often as we'd liked about halfway through the season.
And I've seen a mix McMeekin in again. We kind of talked about him in pregame, but sometimes we'll see him move up a little further in this offense and get closer to that front line. You'll see him getting mixed in a little bit more instead of kind of the heavier defensive position that he's playing right now, but they've done better at times when he's there. But I think the challenge for Arnold is just finding that right mix of guys because they do have such a strong defensive core. You got to do the right positioning to get maybe the right person offensively to stick out that wouldn't normally think of themselves as the big offensive player.
And when you look up top, you have the goal scoring is there. Tovar, 2 goals and 3 assists. It's one of the forwards in this Discover attack. Here come the Islanders. Castillo again is going to try to get there. And it'll actually be a throw. Thought for a second the Islanders were going to have their first corner.
It looked like good positioning there, and then McMeekin just evidently had the perfect touch on it to keep it from rolling past that wrong side of the flag.
69 degrees here at the start of this contest, and we certainly aren't complaining as Discoverers take the ball over mid-pitch but are unable to pull out a counter as Brian Covarrubias, the center back, drops it back to the keeper. Quick throw taken by the Islanders, and the ball is sent up towards Orozco. McMeekin brings it down, and Montiel kicks it out of play.
Columbus has maintained possession longer in this game so far, but this is the first time they've been on that side of the field, and again it's quickly back to the other side. So some good midfield defense for Grand Island, but unable to finish it off so far.
Another Grand Island throw, just about 5 minutes in here. No team with a shot on goal yet here early on. Jacobo knocks it forward towards Juma.
And when you look at both of these teams too, the thing that kind of sticks out is in these games that they've lost, they've had opportunities to score, they just weren't able to put them away. And I think that's, of course, for a coach, that's always the frustrating part is when you're getting those looks on goal and just not able to quite get it between the bars there, and you're just missing a little bit wide right or a little bit wide left. And that's something you got to figure out, obviously, before postseason, but it is a good sign that you're getting those opportunities.
And like we talked about, that is something Coach Arnold would love to see, a higher percentage of goals find in the back of the net here today. Not going to be easy. Both of these teams very strong defensively. Now, last season it was Grand Island was in the same situation we're currently talking about for Columbus High, where they never scored more than 2 goals a game. Now, this season they have been able to, on several occasions, create some offensive production, but they are in a little bit of a lull. And again, of course, when you're not full strength like they were in the Hack, that'll do that.
A lot of good teams there too, so it's when you get down, it's easy to fall off on a game or two and go on a little bit of a slide. But luckily, we're still technically about midway through the season, or it feels like, because we haven't played that many games. But we will be at the end of the season here sooner than later, I suppose. But there's still time to kind of continue to develop and find that rhythm and kind of get back into shape here.
And talking to both these coaches as well, they say obviously, clearly every game is important at this point in terms of the wild card you're playing for and the points and standings. Every game matters. And talking to Coach Arlt as well, he said, we enjoy playing a very tough schedule, and you look at Columbus sitting at 3-3, and even so, they're still number 8 in Class B because of that. But it gets you ready for the postseason. Columbus High coming off back-to-back years where they've made it to the semifinals, and both years lost to eventual state champs. 2 years ago it was SCOTUS, last year it was Scott, and he said, this year the goal is to crack that semifinal night and make it to the championship, and it's a team that's poised to do that.
Both teams have just been so historically good at soccer that it's fun to see them, even though it is an interclass matchup. But and just being in the Columbus area a little bit more, and I'm graduating from Columbus High. I've had a chance to see some of those teams play throughout the years, and historically they've been so good that, you know, when you're getting a taste of the state semifinal year after year, it can be frustrating that you're not able to crack that, even though that in itself is a very impressive accomplishment.
McMeekin tried to go down the line. Martin deflects it out of play. Ball intercepted by Castillo. Jacobo up to Juma. 2-on-4 right now. And solid defense by Columbus High. Cleared out of danger from Antonio Jimenez. Like we mentioned, Juma getting his first start of the season, and there is the first substitution as Najib Omar comes in again, and somebody that Coach Arlt and this back line is very well aware of. Omar with 2 goals and 6 assists. Had a great freshman campaign. Coach Jensen very excited about what he offers, and this is year 2.
Yeah, just a young guy, and to be out here and competing at the level that he is very exciting for the Islanders. And it's fun to see some young guys get out there and specifically in his position be very good, because that means you're going to probably have some exciting soccer for the couple of years to come, just because that position can really highlight some of the good things that the soccer program can do out there.
Jacobo finds Ulloa making a run from the back, and ball worked forward towards Orozco, and there is Omar. And a foul's going to be called on Jake Jacobo, however, as we saw some more stout defending. I believe that was Vayesh who drew the foul. Another look at it.
Both of them working very hard back there, and then you can see the little bit of the push there, and Esch, I think a combo of him trying to reach to get a tap on that ball, and a slight, you know, it wasn't an aggressive shove by any means, but he didn't have much balance on that part either, so works out in Esch's favor after he falls down.
10 minutes in, still looking for our first shot on goal from either team. McMeekin takes the throw. Up here to Orozco, a chance for another GI counter. Omar's making a diagonal run. And he's going to hold on to it here, hold up play. Can't quite connect with Orozco. Ball still at his feet, a rip, and an amazing save by Victor Vasquez, using all of his arm reach to get up and snag that one.
What a great catch. Some confusion there initially, and then he sneaks by McMeekin and just fires in a pistol of a shot. And that was a great catch. That thing was in there very quick. That was all reaction time.
And so often, too, you'll see a ball hit with that sort of pace, you know, slip through the goalkeeper's hands, because it's not easy just to snag.
No,
there was no hesitation. He caught it. Wasn't going anywhere.
Thing fired in there. That was, I would have easily missed that. I have a little bit longer reach. Vasquez too, and I would not have caught that ball.
Vasquez with 3 shutouts, 70% save percentage, 9 saves on the season coming into this one. That was a good number 10. Covarrubias dispossesses the Columbus attack. Now Ulloa. Orozco, space again on the far side for Jake Jacobo. Tries to square it, but no one was on that back post.
Not a bad look there either. He didn't have a great angle. That was some good defending there by Vasquez, and without shooting that really far of an angle, he would have had to maybe get a little bit of an air and try and draw Vasquez off, but of course a little easier said than done. But Grand Island they're getting some meaningful touches down on Columbus' side of the field. They're not getting a ton of looks, obviously, but they're possessing the ball, or they're forcing Columbus back defensively and not allowing them to get back and move that ball forward onto their side of the field. So you got to think if they can continue to keep that type of play up, something is going to break through for them.
Columbus might be trying to play a little bit more of a counter-attacking style. Clearly, that shot by Orozco, the best opportunity of the game by either team here early on.
And a great look. It just came out of nowhere, too, and he did a great job of not hesitating when there was a little bit of the confusion there by the defenders. There was 2 Columbus guys sandwiched on each side of the ball, and he just piled through there and got a foot on it.
Monsiváis passes it off in the middle, shot from distance. That one won't trouble Bedoya.
A good catch there, and that's that difficult shot. If he can get a little bit more foot on that one and get it towards that upper 90, then he would have had a real dangerous shot, but that's an extremely hard kick to make.
Tried to clear by Martin. That'll bounce back all the way to Bedoya.
Not too bad. Nice little technique to kick back to the goalie. It's a little bit of, it's like street soccer right there.
That's what he was trying to do. It's almost 15 minutes in, still scoreless here. Glad you're with us for this soccer doubleheader on News Channel Nebraska between Grand Island and Columbus. Boys game first, girls to follow. Caleb Esch again, composed under pressure. Swung out here to McMeekin. Andres Espino wins the Columbus Discoverers a throw.
It'll be interesting to see if Columbus can shake anything up. Again, you get some of those long kicks, and it's not much of an offense. They're just kind of sticking something in there. But if they can do anything meaningful to try and get something going here, the Grand Island defense has just been solid so far.
And that last through ball just was a little bit softer. You had Tovar trying to get a toe on it. Orozco taking on 3 defenders. The defenders win. Nifty moves there by Monsiváis. Martin again can't clear. Space wide. Chance for the Discoverers to swing something in, and a strong tackle by Martin.
Martin doing a great job there. He comes downhill full speed and just a great job of contacting the ball. You'll get another look as he comes in here out of your screen, and man, just a beautiful sprint and saves that from being crossed and potentially scored.
Got the ball as well. Garrett Esch, brother of Caleb Esch, in there for the Discoverers. Coming off the bench, Garrett has a goal and 2 assists as just a freshman. Coach Arlt very excited about what he's bringing to the program.
We got track practice going on around the field as well too, and I gotta say that's got to be pretty awesome for the track guys. You get a run around and you get a good soccer game going on too. That's a pretty good deal.
Of course, the weather as well. It's a triple bonus. I'm just glad I'm up here sitting watching the soccer. As there's Omar, someone else who can run, and keeper Vasquez forced to come out and clear it out of danger.
A good move too, because he would have been in a very tough position if he would have sat back or hesitated even a little.
Another Columbus throw upcoming.
This weather is just kind of surreal right now. I'm not quite mentally prepared for this because it's been so unspring-like so far. So this has just been great.
Well, and enjoy it while it lasts as well, because it's supposed to apparently snow on Saturday. So
Saturday morning. So be prepared for some more snowflake. You know, luckily we're getting some of those hot temperatures. We're going from what a chance.
And that was Orozco, had it not been deflected by Vasquez, who was searching for his 4th goal.
Grand Island, again, getting that pressure, and you got to think that's going to break through here at some point. But, yeah, we're going from 70s to snowfall, so that'll be a good Nebraska change in weather.
Wouldn't expect any less as that shot goes in from Castillo. Another save for Vasquez. That went a little bit easier for him than his first.
Got that one right in the chest there, and you got to be happy whenever that is what's firing at you if you're the goalie.
Ball headed back to Bedoya. Almost halfway through the first 40 minutes, still scoreless. Again, ball sent ahead for Omar, who's able to get there. Uloa swung the ball in and cleared away by Alejandro Espino, at least momentarily.
Great look, though. I really like that send, and that angle was nice. They just didn't have the striker to get in there to get a foot on it.
Luis Tovar still with it at his feet, one of the Columbus High captains. Uloa with the interception. Gomez up to Orozco. And Esch will usher that one out of play. Like to remind you that NCN coverage is proudly supported by JBS. As the #1 meat protein producer in the world, they are proud of their Grand Island employees and shared commitment to the community. JBS, making your world stronger. Ball sent up towards Tovar, headed back to Moises Jacobo. Coming back from a little bit of sickness in the hack. Very crucial to the middle of this starting 11 here for Grand Island. Also now in for the first time, Jose Bermudez. Bermudez, another freshman playing that defensive mid role currently. Omar gets around his defender. Chance here for the Islanders. No one in front of Omar. Takes the shot deflected from Vasquez.
Another great look and a great play by Vasquez in that group of defenders. He had a really tough line, got inside, and that's about as close as you can get without scoring. But again, that's got to bid well for the Islanders. They're putting this pressure on, and they've just been relentless up front. And Columbus really hasn't gotten a quality look compared to what GI has put together here so far, so that's got to be boding well for the Islanders.
Another Columbus throw here. 20 minutes gone. More substitutes coming in for both teams. Replay brought to you by Cornhusker Toyota Honda. Nice job by Vasquez, actually.
Esch in there, too.
Esch deflecting it. Omar might have been trying to square it across the box, but Vasquez took away the angle.
Either way, look at a great job getting in position there to at least get either a cross in or a shot on goal, but some heads-up defensive play by Columbus.
Chance for another counter. Orozco with it. He can't quite link up with Anthony Acosta. Columbus High wins another throw-in.
The wind, I mean, even the wind slightly in Columbus's favor here this half. Oh, it's not very heavy, and it's maybe kind of a southwest wind, but Grand Island, it hasn't affected them so far, and it really hasn't affected ball path either. We haven't seen it anything crazy so far when the ball's been in the air.
When you speak of the elements, there's something else that these two teams always have to get used to when traveling. Of course, you have Wilderness Park in Columbus, which is a grass, and Columbus more used to grass than turf, and it's vice versa when GI goes up there, so that's also something you have to take into account if you're the Discoverers. Ball's going to move a little quicker, a little faster than they're normally used to playing on their home field.
Yeah, watching those, you know, I wonder if they have the new high school and they got the soccer field outfitted there / football practice field, so I wonder if they were maybe getting some touches on that yesterday or something like that in preparations for the game out here today. But yeah, you just watch guys who have been practicing on grass and trying to get a touch on a ball on turf, and that ball's moving at such a different speed that it's hard to kind of get that down if you're coming into it cold. Columbus hasn't done too bad today. I haven't seen any missed touches or anything. maybe some misjudgment on speed when they're trying to intercept a pass or something like that. They might overrun a ball or misinterpret where it's kind of going. But for the most part, it doesn't look like it's been too bad. But certainly on offense, if you're not prepared for that, that could hinder this first half effort, and maybe you'll see them kind of catch on and really pick up steam in the second half.
Bedoya clears this one out of danger. 17 minutes and change remaining here in the first half. And another substitution by the Islanders. Omar will go to the bench. I think Coach Jensen just being very cognizant of how his sophomore player is feeling and not wanting to overexert him here early on.
And they're sitting good stuff. This is not a make or break game for them on the season. If they get a win today, it's great and really will boost the team back up as they try to get back on track. But there's plenty of games left in the season, and you'd rather see Omar in good shape for those games versus this one here today against Columbus.
Foul on the Islanders. Free kick here for the Discoverers. McMeekin back to Adabo. Adabo's making a run forward from the back. Columbus with bodies forward. Palma Lopez wins a throw. Good movement by the Discoverers. Shot, no connection, and a foul called against Columbus High.
A great look in.
Is that Tovar, I believe? Or
yeah, I think it was. That's a tough one. It's almost, you have to kind of predict where the ball is going to be because it was mid-bounce and there was bodies flying over the place. But if you could have got a foot on that, that would have been a heck of a look. Really good ball handling on the sidelines there to keep that ball in play to even get that potential shot off. But again, the Grand Island defense doing a good job of stepping up and drawing a penalty there.
Castillo with it and booms the ball forward. Juma running on, and there's Esch recovering. And there's that back line experienced defender doing well in a tough position.
Dabo got a head on it, and actually, yeah, Henrique Dabo actually. But he got a little bit of a head. I think he was trying to maintain control there and get a touch in on it, and then he kept it away from the Grand Island offensive players, which is rule number one when that ball is coming back there, and eventually was able to kick it out. So defense was able to reset, but just really good, again, experience, as you said, showing through on a play like that.
Here's Alejandro Espino. One back by the Islanders. Space on the outside for Acosta. That one rolls out of play.
And as we talk about turf, too, I believe Norfolk's field also turf because they play at the football field as well. And so Columbus High coming most recently off that loss there to North Platte on turf. So maybe John is hoping, hey, we did play one game. Maybe that was where they saw the turf bug come and bite them a little bit. So, they don't seem like they're having trouble with touches or anything like that. Again, if it's even a small difference, that can have a big effect on your offense. But they seem to be doing okay, and maybe that game helped them out a little bit.
Sent forward towards Tovar. He has a chance to run in. And that's going to be a yellow card against Martin. He knows it, and he didn't have much of a choice, really. Tovar had the advantage, and he took one for the team in terms of knowing he would get a card for grabbing him.
A good break there for Columbus to get down on field like that, and they were able to draw a big penalty. They're going to get a good look at a kick here, and it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do with this, if they decide to go for a direct goal or if they try to pop this over top and get a head in or what. But a great opportunity here for the Discoverers.
Be coming from 34 yards out. Looks like Alejandro Espino is standing over it, I believe. Wind now shifting, so it's blowing across the field currently from east to west. And the shot goes straight into the wall and then kicked out by Columbus, so the wall did its job there.
Great job. That's not a fun position to be in, and you got to kind of man up a little bit if you're going to take one of those balls directly on there, and a great job of knocking that thing off. That thing had some great speed on it. Another good look at the fake on the first one. Shields up a little bit, but takes it off kind of the shoulder, and it looked like it missed his chin, but they saved a potential goal there.
I think that was a combination of Aguilar and Moises Jacobo getting the job done there. Islander throw-in.
A couple of Columbus coaches there. Derek Bopp in the background was a former Columbus High soccer player as well, and cousins with Esch, so he's getting some family coaching out there as well. Bopp was a very good soccer and football player back in the day.
Of course, John Arlt, the head coach, he's been here 8 years, and talking to him, interesting, he said, you know, I'm not one of those guys who used to play soccer or has any sort of soccer background. My kids played it, I kind of got involved, and one way or the other, he became the Columbus High coach, and he's had some pretty good success.
Yeah, he's done a great job, and
does wrestling translate to soccer
at
all?
I don't know. The conditioning maybe is the biggest translation, I would say. Their wrestling guys are used to just doing it in a giant circle with sweats on or around a wrestling room or a high school hallways, but Arlt, he's a Hall of Fame wrestler in Columbus High Hall of Fame, so he was very good in high school. But yeah, I guess there's so much soccer in Columbus. There is a ton of it in Grand Island too, and the youth programs are so big. I guess not a surprise. You start them at the age of about 4, and then if you're coaching that entire time, you might pick up some soccer knowledge on the way up.
Arnold also, he was very modest, said, you know, I'm not anything special. I've been blessed with a lot of good talent coming through. I think it's a mix somewhere in between. He's got to take some.
You got to give some credit, yeah. You know, and with just personally from being around the system, not really playing a ton of soccer back in high school. I played a little bit with some of the club teams in indoor leagues for the Columbus High teams, but I was running track at the same time as the soccer program. But Jamie Bennett, the former head coach for Columbus High, he's helped out at SCOTUS. He's got some daughters coming up through their program, so he's helping out with them right now. And we may see some more of him back in Columbus High someday. But a great guy to learn from and work with, and it's a nice environment. And I think that's all been a nice combination for John to kind of get in there and be as impactful as a coach as he had. And there's a good corner look here for Columbus High.
Yeah, I think that ball just tailing away from Bedoya a little more than he expected, but if you can win a corner from that far out, you'll take it, and that's just a basically 45-yard rip.
I think you nailed it on the head there. It looked like it rolled just a little bit farther than where he was kind of judging it to be at, so not a bad situation here for Columbus. Might need the best looks again coming off of set pieces.
Corner swung in, punched by Bedoya. Deflected off Castillo, cleared away. Up to Orozco.
Great defense again.
Good news for Columbus, too, as the Islanders, they were pretty much dominating possession and tempo early in this half. Columbus has sort of weathered that storm and have asserted themselves a little more as we get closer to halftime.
Yeah, they're not getting maybe the looks, or at least they're not getting the looks to the end where they're getting a kickoff towards the goal like Grand Island has as often as Grand Island has, but you haven't seen a real good Grand Island look at a shot on goal in a while here.
Also recently, Najib Omar has checked back in for the Islanders. Again, coming off that hamstring injury. Orozco drops it back to Montiel, up to Omar. Here's a chance. Castillo with it. And once again, great recovery by Esch. Dispossesses the ball and leads the charge.
And just good physical back play there by a defender without drawing a penalty to catch back up, and it looked like it was going to be good position for GI.
Here comes the Discoverers on the break. Shot far post, and it gets just wide.
Man, what a great look there for Columbus on the counter. And I think he might have caught a little bit of a hand on that one, too. That was a really, really good look.
It's Ivan Lopez taking the rip.
And he didn't deflect it. It looked like maybe, I mean, it was a real good line on that outside, just a little bit too wide. And that goal was covered up pretty good on that far angle. So some good, again, good recovery there by Grand Island's defense.
Lopez, just a sophomore. He nearly opened up to scoring. Just past a half hour into this one. Omar with the flick to Orozco. Moises Jacobo. Castillo. Montiel with space on the near side. Uloa. Here's Omar running on again. And it'll be a goal kick. This time it was Adabo dealing with the danger.
Again, good defense, and Grand Island just not able to quite crack through that last shell of back row defenders.
Castillo gonna try to release Omar, dealt with by Adabo. Castillo making another run, gets his foot on it, and that one,
Man,
a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Wow, that almost caught the side netting.
that was a really close look, and I think closer than Vasquez thought it was going to be, too. He didn't stick a hand out, and turned out to be a good decision, a great decision, because they got a goal kick out of it. But, man, that was right on line. Bending it like Beckham.
Less than 6 to play here in the first half. 0-0 between Columbus High and Grand Island. First game of a doubleheader here today on News Channel Nebraska.
This first half going by fairly quick here, too, so far, it seems like.
Not many penalties either. Pretty clean game as here comes Columbus High again. Covarrubias intercepts the pass. Columbus High, good possession here. Ball comes back to McMeekin. Moises Jacobo up to Orozco. Uloa. And again, there's Adabo. Keeping Omar in check for the time being. You can kind of see this Columbus back line as well. They're not playing 4 straight across. They have a player sort of in a sweeper role as that last line of defense.
It's worked out well so far. It's been maybe the piece that's helped evade a goal so far in this game.
Ball scooped up by Bedoya here. 4 minutes remaining in the first half. Esch coming forward. Ball not properly handled. It'll be a Grand Island throw-in. Castillo up to Omar. He can't find Jacobo. Islanders, though, not letting Columbus High get out of their half. Orozco. Shot deflected off Esch. Under 3 now. Both these teams struggling to find the back of the net. That's just because of good defensive play.
And there may be a mishandle on the touch, and that could be, again, we talked a little bit about the turf and dealing with those. We've seen a couple missed touches here late for Columbus, but for the most part, we haven't seen those.
Ball won back by Acosta. Orozco. Under 2 to play. Chance here for Columbus High. Brian Covarrubias, though, all-state caliber center back, deals with it. Ball at the feet of Monsibais. Back to Adabo. McMeekin up top. Shot from way out. Bedoya's there. And if you're Grand Island defense, you don't want to just leave a clear path for a shot. There looked like there was a little miscommunication between the back line.
Yeah, I don't know if where the error was there, but a good look for Columbus. You know, if you can get that shot a little bit closer to that far post, then I think maybe you have a goal there. But again, easier said than done, and another decent look there.
So another close chance by Columbus High as well there. So we're in the final seconds of this one. Final seconds. Columbus looking for a final shot. That's not going to create any danger. And that'll do it for the first half. 0-0 after the first 40 minutes. We'll take a break. Be back with halftime highlights, stats, and analysis on News Channel Nebraska. And welcome back here to Grand Island. Halftime is done. We're ready for second half action. Scoreless after the first 40 minutes. 0-0 as we get ready here. Brendan Axmith, Grant Otten with you. Grant, what are your takeaways from that first half of play?
Grand Island really started off strong, and then Columbus, you saw them kind of creep up and got some looks there in the later portions of the half. So we've seen both teams kind of stick out and be kind of the heavier hand offensively, but you got to imagine one of these defenses is going to give way. It's been such a defensive game so far, but you know, your luck can only last for so long, and you got to think one of these shots and one of these looks that we've seen is very close to sneaking through if they get some more of them in the second half.
Both keepers, Vasquez for Columbus, Bedoya for Grand Island, each with 3 saves in the first half. A miscommunication there between the Islanders. They're able to safely drop it back to Bedoya as he booms it forward. I know the story of the game as well. Both back lines very organized, very composed, as Vasquez comes out to take that from the feet of Orozco.
Yeah, they've done a great job of just getting a foot in or overtaking a ball.
Orozco offsides as he had a near sort of turnover that turned into a goal-scoring opportunity.
I'll be curious to see how these two teams hold up here within about the first 10 minutes. Grand Island doing a nice job outside of that early miscommunication here in the first minute.
Headed by Espino, then Ulloa for Grand Island. Jake Jacobo swings it outside to Omar.
This feels like one of those games that's going to be maybe a 1-0 by the end of this one, and it just kind of had the vibe early on like it was going to be scoreless in the first half, and it's just going to come down to maybe one critical play here in the second half that breaks through and opens the game up.
Both teams have sort of been shifting tactics throughout the half. Right now you see a lot of bodies behind the ball for Columbus. You have about 7 or 8 back and only 2 up top. Wonder again if Columbus High might look more into a counter-attacking style here early on in the second half. Have a collision with Covarrubias and Adabo. No whistle. Ball booted forward by Gomez.
Columbus High baseball having a pretty good season. Had a very interesting game last night. They played at Lincoln East and it ended up being an 11-10 game, but they were down 6-3 going into the 6th inning and scored 7 runs. Lincoln East tied things up in the bottom of the 6th, 10-10. Columbus got 1 run to go up 11-10 in the 7th inning, and they eventually snuck out the win, and then 11-10. So that was a pretty exciting finish for the Columbus baseball team. But much like these two boys teams here, they're having a very good season as well.
Both these teams in the top 10 respectively in their classes. Columbus sitting at number 8 in Class B, Grand Island at number 9 in Class A. All ping-ponging around in the middle of the pitch. Palma Lopez drops it off. Monsibias. Another turnover, chance for a counter. Castillo nearly had Omar had it not been for Esch heading that one away. We're still playing. Moises Jacobo. Orozco back to Jacobo. Good ball movement here by the Discoverers. Quick flick. Once again dealt with by the Islander back line. Castillo looking for Omar. A little too much on it. Nicely done by Vasquez. Room for Castillo. Little give and go. Columbus defense deals with the threat. But right now you're seeing the Islanders early on again asserting themselves, kind of like the start of the game where they had a lot of bodies forward.
Yeah, the first half, and the first section of the first half of the first half, it was a lot of pressure from GI, just didn't come to fruition. And it was almost identical to what we're seeing here.
That ball goes harmlessly out of play for a Columbus goal kick. Roscoe wins it back. Missed hit by Adabo. And it'll be a Grand Island corner.
Yeah, a great chance to get a look here on goal. The last corner kick went directly to Vasquez.
Ball sent in by Castillo to the far post. Ball ends up in the hands of Vasquez. No harm done.
A good look. And it looked like it was just going to be a little bit too far, but it was about right on the money for a shot from that back corner there.
Six minutes in, still both teams looking for their first goal, 0-0 after a scoreless first half. Two evenly matched teams going at it here in Grand Island. One back by Aguilar on that far side for the Islanders. Columbus throw, also a Columbus sub coming in. Headed away by Gomez. Both these teams trying to crack the code against the other's back line. Andres Espino wins it back for Columbus, and it'll be Discover throw-in. Ball at the feet of Ivan Lopez. He had a great opportunity in the first half.
Again, been very tight here so far in the second, and defense has reigned supreme, but Grand Island still getting a couple more looks. Columbus not able to break through yet.
Orozco charging forward. Monsibias brings it down. It's cleared away by the back line.
And I wonder too, you know, if the success Columbus was having was simply because they had a counter look or two in that mix, or if it was just because of a formation Grand Island was running that Columbus was able to kind of dig in on. Because pretty seamlessly Grand Island switched back to putting some pressure on here in this half.
Islanders opting to go with the two forward formation, really for the first time this season in terms of how they started with their starting 11. Diamond in the middle, and then the four back. Najib Omar now looks to be the lone Islander up top.
Maybe just that pressure up front and the versatility that formation gives you was the difference maker so far in the game. And if they switch out of that, does that change, just really how they match up with Columbus and give them the chance to counter a little bit more easily? But they've kind of shifted back into that two front, so maybe that's just the look they need to stick with here the rest of the match.
It almost looks like Islanders are going back to a 4-3-3 now, which is how they started the season. And Omar playing through the middle. You have Castillo wide left and Orozco potentially wide right.
And you got to think with Omar out is the reason probably for that shift to that 2 up front with the diamond in the middle. But, you know, sometimes what's most comfortable, even for the backups, it's easier just for them to kind of rotate in with that formation they've been running all along instead of trying to adjust to one guy being out.
And Coach Jensen is one head coach who's not afraid to make adjustments, always tinkering with the lineup, trying to find the best combination. 10 minutes into this second half, still deadlocked at 0.
Spring seems like it's got the sports best for that type of tinkering baseball. You got a lot of switching around throughout the season. Soccer, obviously, very much a sport that lends itself to that. And then track, throw it at the wall, see who jumps farther,
happens.
and see what sticks.
Still seeing what's going to stick in terms of tactics for success for either of these teams. Offside flag is up as you had Omar trying to get his foot on it. Free kick here for Columbus High. And it's quickly taken.
Good pressure again, though, and man, it makes you think one of those is going to punch through for Grand Island. Now, Columbus, when they do make a run, it seems like they get a good push.
Oh, tough break for Lopez. He was clean through. Ball just got caught under his feet.
That was about as clean through as you could get on a pass without being offsides.
He might get another chance here. Lopez cuts inside, has it on its right foot, and Bedoya is there for his 4th save.
And the Columbus High girls soccer team is currently behind the Grand Island goal, so they're ready to cheer on if the boys can sneak one through here in the last 28 minutes.
And that's going to be a corner kick. GI quickly takes it as he had Vasquez out of position.
Good smart move, too. If they could have gotten a rip-off there, it was an open goal.
Gomez drops it back. Columbus High, they're starting to take a little bit of momentum after that opportunity by Ivan Lopez rather. Luis Tovar also playing up top. He brings the ball down currently.
And really, I think the difference between that pressure Grand Island was applying in the first half and the pressure they're applying here, Columbus was really possessing the ball a lot of the time early in that first half, and the Grand Island midfield defense just was rejecting everything, and so Columbus was having to try and find something new to work with. This time, Grand Island's done a great job of possessing early and has been applying the pressure themselves versus just trying to counter off of a midfield defensive play.
Back up top to Lopez. He's looking for Tovar. Bedoya off his line, scoops it up. Ball booted towards Orozco. Gonna have to deal with Esch, who heads it back safely to Vasquez. Ball out of play off Grand Island. Both these teams trying to snap losing streaks. Islanders currently on a 2-game skid. Columbus on a 3-match losing streak, again against the opponents of North Star Southwest, most recently North Platte in the GNAC. The other thing too that Coach Arlt talked about is the losses. They've been close losses. You have the 2-0 loss to North Star, but then you have a 1-0 defeat to Southwest, and then a shootout loss to North Platte. It's a matter of this team figuring out how to come out on the right side of those close affairs. And by the way things have been playing out here, we could very well have a 1-goal game that decides this, or potentially overtime and shootout. You never know, but right now both teams are very evenly matched.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see who's gonna, if either of these teams are gonna break through and get a goal in this last 25 minutes here. It's been a great matchup so far.
Gomez tries to clear it away, goes to the feet of Antonio Jimenez. Up again to Lopez. Columbus throw. Now right now, you look at Columbus High, and they literally have just Adabo and Esch playing deep on the back line, but they're looking like they're trying to shift their tactics and get some more bodies forward.
Both teams have had really one really good look, I think, and those both came in the first half. You had Columbus down on that far side when they, it looked like due to a miscommunication with the Grand Island defense, had an open lane at a shot, and then Grand Island, when they were shooting the far post there that one time, was a really good look at goal. So, as far as missed opportunities, I'd say you're still looking pretty even, and it's been such a tight matchup here early on. But both teams got to be thinking, you want to sink a goal in here at some point, but at what expense? And if you're Columbus, obviously you're lucky that you can leave it really at a two-person defense with Henrique Adabo and Esch as well. Grand Island, they're so strong with that the combo of the three backs back there. You'd hate to see one of them step up and sacrifice some potential defense, but I think Grand Island has applied enough pressure here that maybe you're not too worried about that. But even 23 minutes sounds like a lot of time. It really is not a ton of time.
Free kick given to Columbus. Espino. Pass intercepted up top now to Orozco for Grand Island. Strong tackle by Jimenez. Columbus gets the ball back. Monsibias taking on defenders, loses it. Chance here for a counter. Castillo. Up to Jake Jacobo making a run. And it'll be a Columbus throw. Cleared away. And now a GI throw. During this break, I'd like to remind you that News Channel Nebraska coverage is proudly supported by JBS. As the #1 meat protein producer in the world, they are proud of the Grand Island employees and their shared commitment to the community. JBS, making your world stronger. Ball swung in. That won't bother Vasquez. Chance here. McMeekin has a clear path at goal, but can't get enough behind it. Actually, that I don't think was McMeekin.
I think it was Esch, the younger Esch.
Yes. Garrett Esch looking for a second goal of the season.
And he was getting caught up quickly there by those defenders. He didn't have a ton of time to set up and rip on that thing, but just couldn't quite get a good foot on it as he was gathering himself to get a kickoff. But you could hear the fans getting pretty excited there when that look was kind of developing itself up.
Almost halfway through this second half. Covarrubias clears it with his left foot. And we have an offside flag up against the Islanders. Moises Jacobo trying to run on. Esch stops that. Still will be an Islander throw. Swung across to Gomez. Space for Ulloa here. And more tough defense by the back line. That was Jimenez. Tovar. Nifty moves.
About kicked it back right to himself again.
Columbus still with the ball. Flick by Jacobo to his older brother Jake. Juma applying pressure on Esch, causing some issues, and the Islanders with a free kick. Esch wasn't quite expecting that.
And it looked like maybe Esch had gotten grabbed for a second. You can see the arm grab there, so I thought that was what the call was going to be, but Islanders with a chance.
Covarrubias to take the free kick. Plenty of distance. Headed off of Jacobo. And we have an offside flag. So the goal disallowed.
And a heartbreaker for GI.
Covarrubias, as you see, frustrated as we thought we had the drought broken.
So close. And another look as you see that one come through. And downfield, it looked like Castillo was offsides there. That's a tough one for GI.
So the tie continues for the time being.
If anything, I guess maybe you see that go through the net, and that's maybe the booster you need to. It was so close that you got a little bit of a taste.
And if you're Columbus, maybe that wakes you up and sparks something a little bit. Perfectly placed ball by Covarrubias. Clearly that's where you want to send it.
Yeah, really nice kick out of that free kick position. That would have been a heartbreaker for Columbus as well. If you know, again, it wasn't a super controversial call, but it was a situation where Esch, you know, got grabbed a little bit, thought maybe he was going to get a penalty, and then Grand Island gets it. If you're Columbus, that would have been really heartbreaking to go from that high to a real low, but they find a way to survive and keep their chances alive here.
Well, Jake Jacobo wins another free kick. This one's closer than the last for Grand Island. Covarrubias will take it again. This one with more pace on it, right at Vasquez for the senior's 5th save. And Orozco offside as well. So the Islanders rather, getting a little antsy, which tends to happen when you're searching for that goal.
Yeah, you got to be. It's a weird position here. You're down 0-0. You want to try and get something in before the end of regulation, but you also need to keep some defense in mind as well. Both teams, again, we've kind of beat the dead horse, but they've gotten some great looks, and so you just kind of got to be patient here with your offense and hope you can pop through and get something going. Both girls and boys, when they played North Platte for Columbus, was high-scoring matchups.
Collision. Omar off his knee. Sorry to cut you off there,
No,
Grant. We had a
That's a good
situation almost.
That was a close look at a goal there. And that's not an easy thing to direct off your knee there, but if he could have gotten that, that would have been pretty sweet.
Like you're mentioning, girls' game to follow between the Lady Islanders and Lady Discoverers. GI searching for their first win of the season.
Yeah, they've had a tough start here, and they've played some very good teams in this first chunk of games for the first half of the year.
Couple of substitutions coming on for Columbus High, and we're back in action. Gomez knocks it forward to Moises Jacobo. He turns. Orozco back to Castillo, gets his foot on it, and the Islanders strike. Offsides flag is down. GI takes a 1-0 lead.
Beautiful kick. What a send. Down the field, goes right through the defender's legs, and just a beautiful setup for a goal here. What a pass.
66th minute goal. That is the 4th of the season for Steven Castillo.
Beautiful pass, beautiful finish, and Columbus High going to be forced to kind of put the pressure on here. And specifically, I think, if you get down under 10 minutes, you're going to be trying to send some more offensive players downfield and putting a little less emphasis on the defense.
And you kind of mentioned it, Grant, the way that Grand Island had been playing this second half, that the more chances they created, that one was going to find the back of the net. And shortly after that goal was disallowed, Grand Island does get one that counts. Another shot from distance, that one well wide. That'll be a goal kick for the Discoverers. So Columbus High with some work to do. And if you're Columbus, you're going to be forced to take chances in terms of getting bodies forward. Bedoya throws this out to Orozco. And there's going to be more space on the counter for GI. Grand Island throw quickly taken to Ulloa. Ball sent towards Amaya. Ulloa, high arcing shot.
He almost fell back into the goal there, too. That was a pretty nifty kick.
They're never easy to deal with when you're a goalkeeper. Save number 6 for Vasquez. Ball up to Amaya. You also have other Islander players up top, seeing playing time for the first time. Abel Chavez, one of them on the left wing. Ball sent into the middle, chance for Columbus. Tough defense. Up to Omar. Chance for the counter. Here comes the sophomore. But the ever reliable Esch is there as the last line of defense. Ball sent towards Tovar, headed by Martin. Vasquez boots it out of play. And also have Juma checking back in for Grand Island. Omar getting a rest here with just over 10 to go. Another ball sent toward the box, bouncing past Vasquez initially. He recovers. Still time left for Columbus, but they're going to have to take some chances if they want to get that equalizer.
Yeah, they're really going to have to push here. We're to that 10-minute mark now. And you got to think the offensive pressure is going to start to creep up more and more, and there'll be less defensive pressure out of Columbus.
'66th minute goal by Steven Castillo, the difference currently in the contest. Another chance for the Islanders. Juma tried to find Jacobo, who goes down and wins a free kick. Another opportunity, this one from 30 yards out for Covarrubias. He might even have a shot at this. Discovers with the wall set up. From 30 yards out, Covarrubias off of the woodwork. The odds of hitting the crossbar on a free kick from 30 yards out.
It's an impressive
Not good.
rip. Yeah, it is an impressive rip.
That certainly would have sealed things, the way this game's been playing.
Columbus has not really had much looks here in the last 20 minutes or so. Or I should say in the last 12 minutes of the game, but with about 20 minutes remaining.
Lopez passes it off to Monsiváis. One back by Orozco. Another chance for a counter here for the Islanders. And Orozco put a little too much on that. Under 8 minutes to go, Covarrubias to take the throw. Long throw, Juma running on. You have a good recovery by Jimenez. Headed forward by Adabo. Martin clears it. Space here on the far wing for the Discoverers. Saved by Bedoya.
Again, still enough time to sneak a goal in, but it is running out quick. Grand Island, you almost, if you can, get it to a corner and kind of stall out on the backside of Columbus's field and force the pressure really to kick in with the time that's remaining.
Ball dropped back by Espino. Space for McMeekin here. He gets around Gomez. Columbus throw. Martin wins the ball back. Grand Esch. Dispossessed by Juma. But Esch, even when he messes up, he still does okay.
He's very fast, and it was a running back / receiver in football, and easily could be a stud on the track team as well, but he's got that makeup speed when he misses on a stab or something to get back there and repossess.
Arlt labels him the fastest player on the team. I don't think he's too far off on that.
Yeah, I think that's an accurate statement. He'd be the fastest guy on most teams.
Under 5 to play.
Things not looking great for CHS. They're going to, you think potentially it's going to have to be a counter or something where they kind of get a shot downfield or a send downfield, and one of those frontline guys is going to need to make a big play.
Martin. Send towards the box. Vasquez is there.
Great send, and just almost got ahead on that one, streaking downfield. Brian Vasquez, the middle fielder, up with some pressure.
Bedoya forced to come out, clears it away. Islander free kick. Covarrubias again sends it up. Could not quite find his teammate Amaya. Ulloa wins a free kick. Good defense there by Jimenez. Again, time continuing to wind down here. Columbus running out of opportunities. Looking ahead, too, for both these teams. Columbus travels to Hastings on the 17th. Grand Island with a huge match right here on Thursday. They get their bitter rivals, Kearney. Bearcats sitting at number 4 in Class A. Certainly the Islanders would love to take momentum into that contest. Like we've talked about before, Columbus, though, desperately not wanting this to turn into a 4-game losing streak. That's the reality they're facing right now.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. You go down 4 straight games, but again, a very good team, and not a surprise. It's close match after close match. It's been some tough battles for this Discoverer squad. They have not had a break here in the past couple weeks.
Moises Jacobo with a crack. We're under 2 to play. We have an Islander who's down, so the clock will stop. And the injured player is Jose Amaya, dealing with some sort of issue. Looks like his left leg, potentially.
He's all right. He's walking under his own power there, so should be good to go, but of course you hate to see the guys go down, especially late in the game. I'm just gonna have to make something happen quick here.
Juma gets past his defender. Has a shot, it goes into the side netting. Columbus forced to hurry. Another chance potentially for Juma Vasquez. Comes out quick enough. Under a minute, the Islanders are going to try and take it to the corner. That's Jerome Silva. Columbus quickly wins a throw.
This might be the last chance if they can send something down.
Here you go. Columbus High running through a shot, and it's finished.
My word. 20 seconds to go.
Ivan Lopez slots it home, and it was off a huge error by Grand Island.
I've earned my paycheck for today. I called seconds before it happened. I'm taking that one to the grave with me, but my word, what a break there for Columbus.
The 80th minute, Ivan Lopez equalizes.
Unbelievable. Just an unbelievable finish.
And it very much looks like we have bonus soccer coming your way on a Tuesday.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
What a clinical finish
4,
by Lopez.
2, 1.
And we have overtime, 2 10-minute periods when we return 1-1 here in Grand Island. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to Grand Island. Late drama leads to bonus soccer here. GI up 1-0 after a 66-minute goal by Steven Castillo, and the Discovers just wanted to make for good TV. Ivan Lopez scores with 20 seconds exactly to go to tie things, and here we are.
It was literally the last chance they could have to score a goal, and they got it through. So what a finish to regulation, and hopes remain alive for them here in OT.
Free kick here for the Discovers early on in this first overtime period. Tovar with his left foot, that wasn't hard enough to trouble Bedoya. But now if you're Grand Island, soccer is such a psychological and mental game. You clearly are down if you're the Islanders, and you are sky high right now if you're Columbus.
Yeah, you wonder where that'll come and impact them, because Grand Island again was getting a lot of good looks there. Even after they scored that one goal, they had a couple cross kicks that were close, maybe for a header or even just a trailing front man to get in there and get a foot on, and were very close to scoring a second goal. So, I think if you're coach over in that GI huddle, you're just trying to re-energize them and remind them of how well they've been playing offensively and how close they've been getting, and trying to encourage them to bring that out here in OT.
Throw in here for Grand Island. Yeah, if you're Grand Island, like you said, you've had more chances than Columbus. Scoreline, though, shows 1-1, and that's why you play the game.
And 10 minutes is not a lot of time here to get something going. They got the 2 10-minute periods, but for how long this game went without a score, I wouldn't be surprised if we go through this without any more scoring. Sometimes you get a little extra burst of adrenaline, though, it seems like, when you get into OT.
Overtime and shootouts was something this Grand Island team was very accustomed to last season. Now they haven't gone to any of those circumstances yet this season, as the Islanders are running on, and Orozco Could not quite connect before Vasquez got his foot on it.
A bold decision to choose to come out, but it turned out to be the right one for him.
And speaking of Columbus, we've already talked about it. They have one overtime defeat. They've also been in 2 shootouts, both of which they've come out on the wrong side of, but they at least do have experience this season in playing in games past 80 minutes.
And it's a weird situation where one of the first nice days we've had in a while, maybe that heat does come back and bite both of these teams a little bit. So they start getting a little more tired as we get into these extra minutes because they're dealing with some heavier temperatures or higher temperatures than we've had all year long because they've been playing in snow and cold weather.
Jake Jacobo right now has been causing some issues for Columbus High on this right wing. Sends the ball back to Orozco, chests it down, pulls it back, a chance for Jacobo to have a crack. He misses it. And now one from distance from Castillo.
Man, some great opportunities there. They just missed that one look.
So now it'll be a throw, but yeah, several opportunities there for the Islanders to get a shot on target. Here comes Columbus, however. Ivan Lopez, the man with the equalizer. Ball glued to his feet. Monsibias. One back here by GI. And Omar back in. Esch, so fast, loses it, however. Here's a real opportunity for Omar. But Enrique Adabo covers. That'll be a GI throw. Here comes Omar again, behind the back line. It'll be another Islander throw. Aguilar drops back to Castillo. Swings it in with his left foot. Halfway through this first overtime period. If you're just joining us, Grand Island took a 1-0 lead in the 66th minute thanks to Steven Castillo. Ivan Lopez equalized for Columbus with 20 seconds to go to give Columbus High hope and force these 2 overtime periods.
The first overtime half here going pretty quickly, under 4 minutes, and really haven't had a huge look, but maybe an opportunity here.
Offsides flag up on Jake Jacobo. Just a little bit too anxious to make that run. And we have another Islander player down near midfield. The clock stopped at 3:34.
Hopefully not too hurt here getting up. I wonder if it maybe is a cramp. As again, it's not overly hot outside, but it is warmer. And when you've been practicing in that cold weather and those lower temperatures, you're going to be sweating a little bit more here today out on the turf.
Aguilar able to walk off the pitch. And we're back in action. Moises Jacobo applying pressure. He's called for the foul. Columbus High gets it up to Espino. Chance for a counter here. Danger dealt with nicely by Alejandro Espino. Two and a half left here in the first overtime period. Thrown up towards Jacobo. He gets a foot on it. Omar running from the back. GI with a couple bodies forward. Squared to the middle. Jacobo to Orozco.
Man, a close look there. They had a small window there for a second where they could have potentially gotten a nice rip-off.
Islanders with a sub coming in. Clock stop at 1:51. Columbus High also bringing on a body as well. Omar. Orozco wins it back. Now Espino. Another throw in here for the Islanders. Jacobo with the volley. And that would have been worth 3 points. Was it an American football game?
Yeah.
Split the uprights.
Get it in there, and hey, it's worth a try. See if the score people will recognize your effort there.
They're on top of their game. It's still 1-1. 9 minutes almost gone here in the first overtime. We have another 10-minute overtime upcoming. We're still tied after that. We go to a shootout.
I personally haven't had to broadcast or gotten the chance to broadcast a shootout yet, so I wouldn't mind seeing a little shootout action here today.
Always enjoyable from a neutral point of view.
It's man, so intense, but a lot of fun to watch.
Just under 30 seconds now to play. Covarrubias bringing it up.
Curious
Grand
if Grand
Island.
Island can channel some Columbus here.
Foul on Moises Jacobo.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
We have
4,
Adabo who's down.
2, 1.
And that'll do it for the first 10 minutes. Still tied at 1. We'll be back with the second overtime when we return on News Channel Nebraska. And welcome back here to Grand Island. Second overtime period coming your way. We are tied 1-1 here between the Islanders and Discoverers. Brandon Axum, Grant Otten with you. The reason we're here is because of a goal with 20 seconds remaining from Ivan Lopez for the Discoverers to force overtime. And judging by that first 10 minutes, you'd say it was pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of pressure either side. Grand Island and Columbus both kind of got a look there early on, but then defense kind of prevailed for most of that overtime half. But
Chance here early for the Islanders, and Jacobo can't get around on his left foot.
that's a tough shot to make, and he was kind of having to twirl around to kick that one through, but And a good look there early on for Grand Island. Goal was pretty well covered up, too. I'm not sure quite where he would have had to send that thing to get in. He probably would have had to gone across his body.
Good opportunity early on, though, for the Islanders in this second overtime period.
And
Chance for a counter.
Yeah, as I say, you mentioned Columbus has not done great in shootouts so far. It's been close, but they've fallen in both those opportunities earlier this year. So, you know, I guess maybe it depends how you look at it. If it's a chance for redemption if you go to shootout, or maybe you get nervous at the same time. That mental game is a big piece.
Strong tackle by Castro. Backup goalie getting some playing time here in the field for the first time today. Ivan Lopez, the Columbus goal scorer, ushered out a play. Islander throw. And Najib Omar comes back on for the Islanders.
Both defenses, I would say, looking a little bit more exhausted here as the game has worn on. This has been it's been a busy game for both the defensive sides. And we are well deep into playtime here compared to what these guys are used to playing.
McMeekin. Good link-up play for the Discovers. Swung out right wide to Espino. Castillo blocks it. Tadeo drops it back. Won by Castillo. And he sends that one towards Omar. McMeekin's going to have to deal with it. And what a save by Vasquez, who's down. Whistle blew before the ball goes in. And I'm not sure if he got stepped on. Oh, he took a boot to the face.
Got a foot or a shin of some type to the face, and that'll ring your head a little bit.
And Omar, you see, got a touch on it. Credit Vasquez for getting his paws out there. And I'm not. I'm not sure. Yeah, roll it back one more time,
I'm
Ethan.
not sure if how close that was. It looked like he might have missed the head there. And it looks like maybe the toe, as you see that come through, you look at the toe on his left foot, kind of goes underneath his face. It maybe nicks just the side of that eye.
You see Omar kind of
But
say
there
what
wasn't
happened.
yeah, there wasn't a direct. It wasn't a boot to the face like we thought maybe, but you get a close look and you see this toe underneath, kind of sweeps through it, maybe catches his face a little bit.
Vasquez is on his feet now, which is good to see.
Sometimes those situations just scary when you're the person that, you know, if you're Vasquez, you know, if you're a football guy, it's kind of like a knee injury. You don't quite know what has happened, so you're on the ground and you don't want to do anything until you can get checked out so you don't hurt yourself anymore. Looked like he, you know, if you get brushed in the eye with a shoe, that certainly isn't going to feel good, but a good thing he didn't get booted like maybe we thought he did.
Well, it looks like because of the potential of the head injury or the contact, at least for the time being, Vasquez is going to have to come out, and Alex Morales, the backup keeper, is in.
And
I'm not sure what they're going to say, if this is going to be a GI free kick, because I think it is going to be, because the official blew the whistle. It was a referee stoppage because he saw the player down.
Great positioning here, though, if you're GI, man. This is about as good of a look as you can get off the free kick.
And how about Morales? Hey, come right on in, and you have a free kick you're going to have to try to stop.
I hope you warmed up on the sidelines.
Covarrubias has a boot on him. This one from right at the 18-yard box. Covarrubias right into the wall. Has another shot, and it's wide on the near side, so the Discoverers escape danger there.
Man, escaping danger there. Just couldn't quite get that ball up enough to get a look at the goal there.
Omar with the flick to Jacobo. Just under 6 to play.
Here right now, you got to be energized, though, that you got the backup goalie. Vasquez has done so well, and this is a tough situation to put a goalie in here after the injury.
Base here for the Islanders in the middle. Castillo. Bermudez swings it to the far side. Gomez. Ball goes out of play for a Columbus throw. Just over 5 minutes remaining here in the second overtime. Castillo searching for Omar. The sophomore is out, chips it. It's saved, and there it is. It's a goal for the Islanders.
What an effort. Almost keeping it out, but the Islanders do a great job and are able to put it away. I thought it was a save for a second, too. That was a heck of a defensive backline effort.
The official took his time making the official call, but Omar...
And that was a hand on the
handball,
ball, too.
So that's what it was that kept it out. And the sophomore speedster nets his third goal of the season, and that is a big one as GI's up 2-1.
Columbus is going to have to rekindle that magic if they want to pull out a win here, or pull out a shootout opportunity.
That goal coming in the 96th minute. For the Islanders. Plenty of time for Columbus, as we're well aware. They netted their first equalizer with 20 seconds to play. Ball searching for Lopez, gets past him to Bedoya. And now you have Orozco playing up top for the Islanders as this one's headed back. And again, a tough break for Columbus. You wonder what would have happened if Victor Vasquez was in. Morales given no easy task of having to come in and play keeper in overtime.
Yeah, and that's not a knock against Morales' abilities. He's been on the sideline for this whole game, and then all of a sudden you're cold and you're expected to go into a heated overtime matchup, and that's not an easy situation to get into. And really, it comes down not even to the muscle-wise of being warmed up, but mentally. You've been out of this game, and Vasquez has been in just the motions of how this defense and offense have been working against each other, and can feel out those situations a little bit better. So, not a knock against Morales, just a tough shot. But, man, Grand Island needed to capitalize, and you got to give them some credit for stepping up when they had the opportunity.
Moises Jacobo with it. Under 2.5 to go. Drop to Castillo at the top of the box. He has a crack with his left, and it goes just wide.
Again, they scored with about, what was it, 20 seconds left
20 seconds.
in regulation, so there's still time, but, you know, Grand Island at this point, it comes down to just playing some no-mistake soccer for 2 more minutes. You got to be careful, too. We saw that, you know, what led to that score was a big boot, and Columbus, from Grand Island to Columbus, and Columbus set up a counter after getting possession quickly. So, you know, if you're Grand Island, you can kind of get in there and kick away sometimes, but you also need to be careful about just booting it away because you might get into a similar situation they found themselves in last time.
One minute to go. Cuma running on. And now's the time that Columbus is going to have to try to spring something together. If not now, then never.
They'll try to send. But no luck.
Under 30 to go.
This will be a last-ditch effort. The ball still on Grand Island's side. And that boot, that will seal things up. It looks like not much time left. And a potential look.
2, 1.
And it's not in the cards this time for Columbus for the late goal.
Whistle blows.
Grand Island snaps a 2-match losing streak and takes down Columbus
7-3 on the season.
2-1 in overtime to get the victory. It was a good game nonetheless. Grand Columbus with that last second goal to force overtime. Ultimately though, Grand Island rebounds in OT and gets the win.
For as beautiful as a day as it is, you couldn't have asked for a much better soccer match out here. And boy, Grand Island barely holding on, but does a great job. Finally gets a goal through, and just a really nice finish. A great chance for the Islanders to rebound, get back on track here against a very good Columbus team, and carry this win over to their couple of matches coming down the line here. Kearney coming up next, then Lincoln Southeast, Lincoln North Star, and Lincoln East. A tough stretch of games down the way for them. Columbus turning around. You got North Platte, Hastings, Kearney, Lexington, and Omaha Bryan. It's again not going to be a simple task for them, but they will keep searching and try and get back on the track themselves.
We'll take a quick break here from Coach from Grand Island. We're going to have to grab an assistant as well as our player of the game. We'll be back shortly on News Channel Nebraska.
Welcome back. Let's head down to Brandon Axman on the field.
And welcome back here to Grand Island. The Islanders get the victory over Columbus 2-1 in overtime. Joining me is assistant coach Panowitz. Coach, let's start with all the drama. You guys get the goal rather. 66 minutes with Steven Castillo. Things are looking good. You're in control. 20 seconds to go and they get the equalizer. So let's just talk about how that happened and then ultimately how you guys felt at that point.
Well, we've worked on situational soccer in practice, and quite honestly, we and no discredit to Columbus, but we played a long ball to their goalkeeper, which allowed them possession, and then we got a little aggressive on the back line and allowed that through ball there. And from there, I mean, it was just a simple play for Columbus, and very, very disappointed as a team because we work on that situational play. Up 20 seconds to go. I mean, you can't let nothing get behind you, and unfortunately we did, but hopefully we learn from it and can go in the locker room, discuss it, and hopefully eliminate those types of plays again in the future in that situation.
Well, let's talk about the positive of how you bounced back. Soccer, of course, a big game of momentum, and going into overtime, Columbus is on the high. You guys are on the low, but you still ultimately got the deciding victory.
Well, it's a great point. The coaching staff, right? You know, you're up 1-0 with 20 seconds left. They score, big momentum change for them on the road, and so that was the first thing we talked to the kids about was that they have most likely the momentum, and so we needed to come out and swing and play very, very hard those first few minutes of that overtime to try, if nothing else, not to maybe gain the momentum, but to at least neutralize the momentum. And I thought we did that. And we asked the kids to press hard on their back line, and luckily, we were able to come through and persevere through the situation and get the W.
Well, and of course, with that W, you snap the 2-game losing streak at the Hack. You get the momentum going, of course, into a very big game against Kearney on Thursday. So what does this result do for that heading into Thursday's contest?
That's a great question, and I don't know yet, but I think our team, our players, our kids, I think they deserve this win. They deserve this game, but I hope it's a learning experience for them because we knew Columbus was going to be tough. They play us tough every year, and it was good to get the win, but there was a lot of, thank gosh the game's on film. We can look at the film, hopefully learn from our mistakes, continue to grow, and be ready for one heck of a game hopefully on Thursday night with none other than the Kearney Bearcats. And we're really looking forward to that because I think in the last 2018, since 2010-ish, I mean, that game has always been a one-goal game, and whether it's in regulation or in overtime, I mean, there's been big swings. So I hope our kids are motivated and can take a little bit of momentum from this game, and we should have a great crowd. Sounding like the weather should be good on Thursday, so we need to build off this, learn from it, and we got a big one Thursday night. So,
well, Coach, thank you for the time. We're looking forward to it as well. We'll see you Thursday.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's bring over Stephen Castillo, our player of the game. He had a goal. He assisted the other goal. Not too bad for him. Stephen, let's walk you through the first goal in the 66th minute that you were able to get behind and put your team up 1-0.
Yeah, they just played a ball to Jair, and I just saw that backside run, and I just was screaming at him, Jair, play me that through ball, and I just had the confidence as soon as the ball touched on my feet that I was going to score. I just scored, and we're up 1-0.
Up 1-0 until 20 seconds to play now. We talked to your coach and got his perspective, but how were you feeling at that point? Was there any doubt when they scored and you knew you were going to overtime what the result would be, or how are you feeling personally heading into that break before overtime?
Well, obviously, it's like a mind shocker the last 30 seconds, but, we just told the boys, keep it grinding. We'll get this win. Just focus on getting a goal, that's it, and playing safe. And that's what we did, and we ended up getting another goal.
Let's talk about that second goal. Second overtime, there's roughly 4 minutes to go. And if I remember correctly, you have the ball and you had someone to pass it to out on your right, but you decided to cut it in and then go for the long ball to Najib. Yeah. So what did you see there?
I got the ball at my feet and I took a quick turn to the right. And initially I was going to play it in, but I saw the backside wide open, and Najib with his pace, I just was floated into space, and he took care of it from there.
You make it sound so simple.
Yep, it's just how soccer is.
Well, now here's the big question. How are you going to make it look simple against Kearney? Rival, big game, right here on your field. They're a top 5 team.
Yep, we're just going to play simple, just make sure we keep ball forward, no mistakes in the back line, and just play with our hearts, and we'll go from there.
Can you give any added insight on how you're feeling, how the team's feeling? Because everybody knows that Kearney's the game that we circle before we start the season. So, and at least in terms of the emotion or the anticipation.
Yeah, we're all just amped up for this game. I mean, it's been a long week. We had to take care of Columbus first, but this is a big one. It's time to shine.
All right, I like it. The Islanders are looking to shine on Thursday. Well, congrats on the great performance. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
Stephen Castillo, our player of the game, a goal, an assist. The Islanders win 2-1. We'll take another quick break and be back with girls soccer on News Channel Nebraska. And welcome back here to Grand Island, getting ready for girls soccer action, but we're wrapping up the boys as GI comes out on top 2-1 in overtime. News Channel Nebraska's top plays brought to you by the Central Nebraska Regional Airport in Grand Island. With daily service to Dallas, Fort Worth, and twice weekly flights to Las Vegas and Phoenix Mesa, from here you can go anywhere. Battle of top 10 teams, number 8 Columbus coming to town to take on number 9 Grand Island on a Tuesday afternoon. Great shot coming in by Jair Orozco. There was one of 7 saves for Victor Vasquez. Islanders had some chances early on, and Columbus with a few as well. We would be tied 0-0 at halftime, and we thought we had a goal coming midway through the second half. Free kick from Brian Covarrubias. It was ruled offside, so at this point it's 0-0, but at this point, shortly thereafter, the Islanders take the lead. Steven Castillo, his 4th goal of the season, that came in the 66th minute. Time winding down, but Columbus in the 80th minute, literally with 20 seconds to play, equalizes thanks to Ivan Lopez. We go to overtime, and it's in the second overtime period where sophomore Najib Omar nets for the 3rd time this season and gives the Islanders the ultimate win. GI rolls to a 2-1 victory and improves to 7-3. Columbus drops to 3-4. I'm Brandon Axmit, and those are News Channel Nebraska's top plays. We'll take another quick break here in Grand Island. Girls soccer coming your way next on News Channel Nebraska.